For a couple of years now, I've always designed characters as sort of a hobby of mine. From League of Legends to Smite, Rainbow Six Siege to Overwatch, and anything in between. So when Riot released a new video game, VALORANT, into the scene, I had no choice but to take a shot at it. This would be the process of a character that I designed named Desserre. Throughout this video, I will be going through abilities, thought processes, as well as just overall techniques that I've learned and utilized when making this character. I hope you enjoy, and I hope you stick around for the rest of the video, and without further ado, here's the process. What you're seeing on the screen is a character that I've already drawn before. That's why whenever I flicker from this sort of already shaded dark blue into these lighter blues that I'm putting around the body, I'm actually taking more inspiration behind VALORANT's art style. When I looked at their card art, I noticed that a lot of their shading had to do with sort of a mosaic motif. I don't necessarily know how to explain it properly, but a lot of the shading is done in more triangles and hexagons and rectangular shapes. So I wanted to take that shading style and sort of make it my own as I continued with her character. Now, sort of as a lazy man's way of getting out of everything, I realized midway through this that essentially her body is going to be covered with a sweater, her legs are going to be covered with leggings, and her shoes are going to be, well, on her feet. So there was no reason for me to continue shading throughout the rest of the body. So there will be an intense focus on the face, and everything else will kind of fall to the wayside because of that. So when designing this character, I wanted to take on the aspects of sort of a spy type of character, someone who's very sneaky and can get away with a lot of stuff. Her abilities are focused around decoys and deception. What I wanted to design it off of was, there were concepts in Call of Duty, Rainbow Six Siege, and I believe CSGO has something like this as well, where characters can equip decoy grenades. And what these grenades do is they pull a pin and essentially a metal sphere or some type of object rattles around in a can, but because it's hollowed inside, it makes it sound like it's a gunshot. So you throw these grenades in certain areas to make it sound like there's guns going on in the other direction. But I assume by 2050, a technology like that is going to be either A, already existed, or B, developed beyond any means necessary. The idea behind her gadget is I wanted to make these small speakers that she can place anywhere in the map, that she could choose whether she want to play her gunshots or play her footsteps through, to make sure that she's optimally as deceptive as she can possibly be. This next technique with the glasses is kind of slick, so I just wanted to show some insight to that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to paint the insides of the glasses white and then reduce the opacity to about 5%. What this does is it kind of makes it look like it's clear while still having something there, as well as, just keeping the skin and everything behind it visible. With the main body out of the way, I wanted to take a little bit of a breather and just design some ability icons for her to have in the game. With the help of some friends, I also designed some of the abilities that would actually make her viable in today's version of VALORANT. Now we have ability icons, and now we have the body as well. The next thing I usually focus on is the portrait. With the portrait, I try to focus more on making a personality or a statement for the character. To put a story behind the angle, I was taking this from the perspective of she was looking at her sound drone, which was her second ability in this kit, and she's relaying the information to her team. Fairly straightforward, but I feel like that would show a little bit more of her divisive nature and allow her to be more interactive onto the team. To tie in with the personality of a character, a lot of people ask, what does the DB on the side of her headphones stand for? Which, the D stands for Desserre, which is her first name, while the B, I'm not really a fan of this last name, but the B stands for Belmont, which is her last name. The reason why I chose those two names is because Desserre, the nickname for her, is often Desi, and Belmont, if you shorten it, is Bell. So when you put those two together, decibel to go with the sound-based character. When the capitalization is the way it is, simply because that is the initials for how you would want to represent decibel. As I continued forward with this piece, I wanted the portrait to have more of a realistic feel in comparison to the shading effects of Valorant. So that's what I kind of go for, but as you see towards the end of the video, I decided to just stick with the consistency and kept it with the mosaic shading. I think that's what I called it at the beginning of the video. We're coming to the final stretch of the piece, and all that's left is cleaning up some extra lines as well as adding some details that I forgot previously. Primarily being the headphones in her hands rather than her carrying whatever wires or strings I had in her hands previously. Though, now that I'm looking at it, it doesn't really make sense because I think she has earbuds in her ears and then she's carrying headphones. But you know what, we'll keep that in for consistency and say that we're professionals. I also began adding a background to the character just to continue with the consistency of Valorant's color style. I wanted to go with the reds and blacks, but I figured that was clashing with her character model a little bit too much. So I settled on a gray and then created a sort of discount version of the Valorant border around the body and around her portrait as well. And that felt like it was a little bit more grounded in the Valorant lore. Now originally I did stop my drawing here, but I realized when I zoomed out, a lot of the background was bleeding into the portrait a lot more than I expected. So I went back in and cleaned up her lips as well as her hair and facial features, as well as just upgraded a lot of the shading that was going on. With the final edges being cleaned up, I officially put this piece and my pencil to rest. Overall, Desserre was a very fun character to make, and I enjoyed every second of making her. If you would like to see more concepts like these, please leave a like on the video and show some support. I'd also like to take some of your comments below and maybe make them into another character for you guys. You let me know in the comments below how you feel about that. Until next time, have fun out there and keep smiling.